Okay, welcome to a new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode is a post-fight show for UFC Fight Night, Oleinik versus Hunt, heavyweight clash of the ages. This was a really good main event, had a great co-main event, and then there's a few good fights in the mix on the rest of the card, and then there's some hits and misses after that. Yes, post-fight rundown of the main card. Let's get started. So, in the heavyweight division, we have Oleinik versus Mark Hunt, and Oleinik won submission round 1, rear naked choke, and it was just impressive how he got that choke in. It was late in the first round, and the first half of the round, Mark Hunt looked like he was going to win by knockout. He had him rocked. He landed a great leg kick. And in the mix of that, he landed a good, I think it was a left hook to Oleinik, if I'm not mistaken, that just rocked Oleinik, and it looked like he was dazed and confused. I'm not talking about the movie. And then I thought, okay, Mark Hunt's going to follow up with a big right, and then that's going to be all she said. But Oleinik came back and he rocked Mark Hunt on the stand-up, and then he looked to capitalize, and he was bum rushing for takedowns, and he worked a really good single leg, and eventually got on his back, and then there's some scrambling for positions, and then Oleinik eventually got his back near the cage, and then worked in the submission rear naked choke, and it was a great fight. I was on the edge of my seat this whole entire fight. It was amazing. I was very entertained, and yeah, wow. The heavyweights stole the show as always. Then in the co-main event in the light heavyweight division, we have Jan Blachowicz versus Nikita Krylov. Wow, this one, I was so convinced Nikita was going to win. I thought, oh man, he was on a tear outside the UFC. He looked really good while he was in the UFC. And he never, when he left the UFC, it wasn't like he went on a massive losing streak or anything, and then, they cut him. It was like he decided to leave on his own free will because he wanted to pursue other opportunities in fight in Russia. And he fought, some top talent there. So I thought, okay, he's going to be that much better, and he's gonna give Jan trouble. Well, I mean, this kind of went back and forth for a little bit. However, Jan submission arm triangle choke round 2. It looked really good. I was impressed with Jan's performance here, and yeah, he's on a big win streak right now. I believe it's a 4-fight win streak. Jan has fought some of the best. He had that big loss to Gustafsson, though, and I can see why he wants a rematch with that. I think maybe Jan versus Alexander for an interim light heavyweight belt might be a good fight. Maybe put it on UFC 230. Last time I checked, they still needed a main event for that. Anyhow, so yeah, that was a great performance from Jan. Can't wait to see more of him, especially when DC does retire. I don't see Jan getting a title shot against DC. However, I do see Jan fighting pretty much anyone in the top 5 outside DC. I think by the time Jan gets a title shot, DC will be retired, assuming that DC sticks to his word and retires in March of next year. So yeah, big win for Jan. Then in the heavyweight division, in the main card, we had Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Andrei Arlovsky. Yeah, this one was just, the crowd seemed frustrated. I was getting a little frustrated watching this. Andre landed some good heavy shots, so did Shamil, but it looked like Andre gassed out. And then also Shamil had some, he was getting a little tired, you could tell. They were both getting tired. They both threw everything in the kitchen sink, I think, in the first round. And then the second round, they threw what they could in the first round, and then when I got to the second, third round, it just sort of slowed down. And Yeah, Andre looked good in the second round. However, he did get some dominant positions, and he did get a takedown. Um, some takedowns. Shamil, he's not bad though with his sambo wrestling, and so I knew that, you know, I knew that wouldn't go too long. However, Shamil won unanimous decision, and I think it's the right call. I think Andre knows that he lost this fight, and Shamil is probably walking away going, "Well, I got the win, but I could have done better." And I think Andre Arlovski, this wasn't his best performance. He's had bigger, better matches um, in his career, and I mean, some might say, "Oh, maybe he should retire." I don't know. I mean, he's a legend in the sport. I would like to see him try one more fight, and then if he can't get that sorted out, then maybe retire. But I say give him one more fight, one more match, see how he looks. Does he get a win? Does he win impressively? Who he fights, how he wins, will determine the rest of his career as far as I'm concerned. Shamil, he gets a win, and he has back-to-back wins right now. And he just basically needs to fight some more contenders and see if he can get that title shot down the road. Anyhow, and then to kick off the main card in the welterweight division, we had Alexei Kunchenko versus Thiago Alves. Yeah, I picked Alexei on this one on my pre-fight show. I went 3-1 on this main card, so I did pretty good. The only one I got wrong was the co-main event with the Yan win, because I thought Nikita was going to win convincingly. Anyhow, so Alexei, he dominated. He squeaked out a decision win. It was kind of back and forth on the strikes. It was 69 strikes to 62 overall. And this fight was a hard-fought win for Alexei. I was shocked that Alexei didn't get a knockout, though. I thought he was going to get a knockout within the first couple rounds. But that goes to show you the heart and will of Thiago Alves and his experience. And his striking defense looked overall pretty good. So Alexei, he won this fight, I think, fair and square. He deserved to win. He won 30-27 and 29-28 and 29-28 on the judges' scores. And this was pretty much all a stand-up war. I thought maybe Thiago Alves might at some point shoot for a takedown to score some points and maybe work a submission. Alves is great at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Anyhow, so there you have it. Alexei won this, and congrats to Jordan Johnson. That was a great fight when he got the submission arm triangle choke against Adam Yandiev. Anyhow, that was probably my favorite of the prelims. Anyhow, so that wraps up this post-fight show for UFC Fight Night Oleinik versus Hunt. And stay tuned in the coming days for my pre-fight for Manuel versus Santos in UFC Fight Night in Brazil. And as always, until then, see ya.